So, something that I have been using for the past couple of years that's really helped me in working with my students and working with family, staff members, anything like that, has been setting up an online scheduling system. And what I mean by that is if someone wants to have a meeting with me, whether it's a student, a coworker, outside counselor, with my adjunct role students in my grad level classes, they could set up a meeting with me through an online scheduling portal. I've really liked it because it makes me more accessible. It takes away what I like to call scheduling battleship, where I would be like, hey, you available Thursday at 3? And someone come back like, well, I'm not available Thursday at 3, but I can do Tuesday at 4. It just makes me more accessible, and it allows for a meeting to get set up relatively quickly. So we're going to go over two options today, two free ones. One is called Appointlet, that I've been using all the way up until now for a number of years, or since I started doing this. It's been pretty effective. Actually, some other counselors in my district have kind of seen it in my email signature, and they've started using it. There's also, we're going to look at a Google Calendar. Google Calendar has one that's built in. It's got, some things here and there that, we'll talk about, goods and bads with both of them. The one I use now is actually called TidyCal. This is from the AppSumo store, and the reason I'm not going to go over this one is because there's no free option, right? You have to pay for this. I like it because it's clean. It looks familiar to some people because it looks a lot like Calendly. It's $29 for a lifetime license. You can definitely check it out if you're interested, but I try to keep costs down. I like to only show resources to where you can have a free option. So let us start off with Appointlet, right? So if we first go to Appointlet, let's look at the pricing. So there is free, there is $8 a month, and enterprise if you get enough people that want to do it. I'm not saying to do that, but if you look at free, you get unlimited members, you get unlimited meetings, you get connected to Zoom, or Google Hangouts, or any other video conferencing you use. You can cancel, reschedule events, and it's free, which I like. You can obviously see what you get with the paid version. So once you set up your account, this is what your screen is going to look like. Now, I'll be honest, I rarely visit this screen, right? This was kind of, once I set it up, I'm not really here, and I'll show you why. And this is one of the appeals of it. But first thing you probably want to look at is your settings, right? I go here, I uploaded a picture of myself. A lot of times next year I'm not having an intern, but whenever I've had an intern, I've had a picture of myself with my intern. Reason being, and I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, Team Access, you can add other people to this. So I added my interns, we tied their calendar to this account, and then students were able to go to one site and decide, are they going to book with me, or do they want to book with my intern, which was really helpful. And speaking of calendars, this was the big appeal, and this is what I always look for in a scheduling system, is what they call two-way sync. Can this look at my calendar and see when I'm available, but also write to my calendar, right? So not only set up an appointment for me or a meeting time with me, but I live religiously off my Google Calendar. Like, it needs to be able to write to my Google Calendar, but I also want it to be able to see when I'm available. And this one does it, which is huge. So wording, again, how do you want to word stuff? My name, meeting types. As I said, I'm on TidyCal now. So this is just saying if anyone comes here, don't set up a meeting because I don't use this anymore. Not the end of the world, because if they set it up, it'll still do the two-way syncing, but eventually I'm going to get rid of stuff on here. Reminders, this is for an upgraded plan, so I'm going to skip that. Team Access, and these web hooks and redirects, again, that is for premium access. I do think once you sign up, you are given a little grace period to try out, kind of hey, try out these services you get with the premium, see if you like it, and then they take it away. So that is settings. Now, here's the other thing I like about it is meeting types, right? Like, I want to look at my calendar and I want to know who am I meeting with, number one, but number two, what are we meeting about? So this allows you to create different types of meetings. So I made student meetings, I made parent guardian meetings, course request meetings, post-secondary planning meetings, 504, I'm a case manager, just meeting my incoming or my new students for the first time, people outside of the building, any staff members, and then, as I said, with my with the classes I'm an adjunct professor for, I was also using these systems for people to set up meetings with me. And as you can see, Zoom, right? Like when I kind of started doing this, it was right when we were in the midst of the pandemic. And so I set up a separate thing for Zoom that tied it to my Zoom account. So setting up a meeting, I'm not going to click new meeting, but I will click on one that I've already made to kind of show you what some of the stuff you will put. So meeting name, student meeting. And what's nice is that it gives you this permalink, right? My link for this would be brianlinhart.appointlet.com. So I have my own URL shortener, so I just made it brianlinhart.com/meetings and had it redirect here. But if you don't do that, that's fine. Quick description, what's this meeting for? Now, for some of you, you might just set up, two meeting types, student meeting, staff meeting, or student meeting, parent guardian meeting, and you won't need too much detail, but I like kind of knowing specifically what we're talking about. Location. This one I did customer with specify meeting location. The reason I did that was because other than the Zoom, I would put if they wanted a phone call, if they wanted to meet in person, things like that. That's a question I had where we'll talk about questions later. You're going to see pricing because really these online scheduling systems are really built for people services that you pay for. So like if you go to a barbershop or hairstylist, go to a personal trainer, things like that. So you can set up pricing. Obviously I'm not charging, so just leave that 0. Doesn't show up, don't worry about it. Cancellation and rescheduling and required notice. This is just saying, hey, if you're going to cancel, when you're going to let me know, and this is the amount of time a client can book in advance, amount of notice when booking. So no one can set up a meeting with me. I had to set up for less than 2 hours before. You could always adjust that, make it more, make it less. Breaks. I created a 5-minute buffer between when students, parents, anybody could book with me because, in case the meeting went a little long, or once I was done meeting with someone, I could log my process notes and just make sure I have everything, kind of buttoned up with that meeting and be able to give my full attention to my next meeting. And then email notifications. This is something, again, you could see I had a free program, I had the upgraded plan is a sample. So this is still kind of left over from then, but you can see how much I could customize it. And then a reminder message is a reminder our meeting's coming up, but that is with the upgraded plans. And then pooled availability again. Upgraded plan, manual confirmation, again, upgraded plan, so we're going to skip that. So once I have it, I would hit save and continue. It's not going to let me do it now because I haven't changed anything. Members and availability. So this is where you would add all the people that can get scheduled. So this is me. And what I can do is general rules of thumb. Who am I? What's my title? What calendar is this going to write to? So just this is where it's going to put my appointments. This is where it's going to check for stuff. Now, as you can see, at my school, I have a ton of Google Calendars, right? So the one thing I had to do was that our student services Google Calendar, if it was something I was attending, I would just make sure to click on it and duplicate it to my calendar to block out that time. I don't think I could check multiple. I might be able to check multiple. But the thing is, these multiples, there's only a couple, like our Big Mismatched Family. That's the grief group I run for students who've lost a parent. Extra work, that's if I have extra work, doctorate, adjunct, things like that. I could click these and it would then, we'll do it. We'll click them and then it will check all these calendars because these are all things that always apply to me. I'm not going to click bell schedule because that's just let me know the bell schedule. I'm not going to put our student services calendar because not everything on there is related to me. So if I save it, now it knows what calendars to check for to look for conflicts. Available hours and meeting times. So this is cool. So right now for my school schedule, any of these meetings can book a meeting with me 7:50 a.m., 9:30 p.m. That was just, I don't use this anymore, so I had to go in and put some times. Obviously you're not going to put 9:30 p.m., but this would probably say like 4 o'clock-ish, right? And it's letting any of these types of meetings that I've created schedule a meeting with me. Now you see this one is different. This one says Saturdays and Sundays because this one I set up for my National Louis University students. So if they want to set up a meeting with me on the weekends, you know, they're adults, I'm an adult, I'm fine with that. But, you know, I don't want my students to set up meetings with me on the weekend. So you can create customized schedules for different meetings. Let's say, you know, I wanted to create one where, hey, I only want to meet Wednesday mornings. I only want to have meetings set up with my new students. So I would select that, click my freshman meetings. So they are the only ones. If I didn't already have this in this area that it's available, this is the only time, only my 9th grade students could set up meetings with me. I'm only taking 9th grade meetings. So just something to keep in mind. Yes, okay. So form fields, this is cool. This is, you almost think of this as like a test bank of, you know, think of if any of you were teachers or if any of you are professors now, from textbooks, each chapter you get kind of a test bank of these are some questions related to these topics, pick what you want to use. This is where you could put any question you want answered for any of your meetings. So some of them apply to all, some of them don't apply to all. So example for name, if I go to edit, you can see for meeting types, it's going to be in every meeting because I want to know who am I meeting with? Who are you? What's your name? Right? Save that. Now, for example, if I have name, what grade are you in? What are we discussing? Anything specific? Do I need to send a pass for your student? This one would be for if I'm meeting with a parent or a guardian, right? If they want to set up a meeting with me, I want to know, hey, do you want your student down here with me? Or is this just for us to talk about? Obviously, I'm not going to put this question in my student meeting because they are the student. They're already giving me their name. So it's really cool here. You could set up different fields. Again, as I showed you when I was setting up the meeting types, I didn't put a location. I said that I think it said client will or customer will determine. This is that question. Please let me know how you want to meet. And what's nice is if you type in question and choices like this, each different line is a different selection for a drop-down menu, right? So this one was for parent guardian meeting, 504 meeting, outside staff. So this was for if I'm reaching out to someone other than the student. Okay. Integrations. This is a paid plan, but this, you know, obviously quick pay Stripe, that's not going to apply to school counseling. So, you know, there are a couple things. I actually think I'm taking back what I said earlier. This is why I made those options because it wouldn't let me integrate Zoom without paying. That's right. So for example, you could see how would you like to meet? One of the options is Zoom with my Zoom address, with my Zoom link. So that is why I have that one on there. Okay. So yeah, once you got that all set up, I don't want to click preview. I want to actually go to schedule a meeting. So we'll go to this, we'll go to brianlinhart.com, and now I have it as old meetings. And this is what the page looks like. Real friendly looking, real nice looking, real clean. It looks nice on mobile, looks nice on cell phones, anything like that. Obviously you can see right here, it's saying, hey, don't use this link anymore, but for the purposes of this, I will show you. So let's say I want to set up a meeting. And student meeting. And right now, the way I have it set up is that only one date is available, July 17th. So I'm going to say I want to meet with Mr. Linhart at 8:20. I know that first period I have study hall, I can get a pass. So what is my name? I'm just going to put my regular information, Brian. My name is Brian Linhart. What are we discussing? having a fight with a friend. And do you need a pass? We'll put yes, and it is going to be period or block. So first, it is with Mr. Linhart, and the room number is, we'll say D214. So I hit continue. It shows me, hey, are you sure you want to set this up? Have a meeting. Remember, if I had an intern with me, if they selected the intern, their picture would show up. Yes to confirm. Now, what's nice is it's going to put it on my calendar. But here is one thing. Well, we'll look at my calendar. You can see student meeting with Brian. As you notice, there's no guests, right? That's one thing that was a little bit of a shortcoming with Appointlet, was that it didn't automatically add it to the student's account, the student's email, the student's calendar, right? TidyCal does. That's one reason I shifted over there. Not the end of the world, right? Not too many of our students use their Google Calendar or their Apple Calendar on their iPad. But I just didn't like that, for a parent, for a guardian, and even for students, because, sometimes I will invite them just so they get that pop-up reminder. They have to go one extra step. Not the end of the world, but just one thing you should know about using this. So then if I go here, you could see it put it on my calendar, and it has all the information, right? Name. What was the question I asked? What are having a fight with a friend? You need to send me a pass. Yep, we're ready to send the pass. And you can see right here, it says student meeting. So I know it's a general student meeting. Right now, if I look at my calendar, I don't necessarily know the specifics. But if it was a post-secondary one or a 12th grade one, if it was a 504, was a staff member, it would say all those specifically. Okay? So, how would I cancel? Click here. You could delete it, but it's real nice here. They give you a link to cancel or reschedule. I've never used a reschedule, to be honest, because I don't know all my students' schedule. I don't know if they have something they need to do during the study hall period I might reschedule for. So I would just hit cancel, and then I could put a note, sorry, the meeting just got booked that I have to attend. Please use the link to set up another meeting. And I would send that, and that person would get the message. And now it's gone from my calendar. So that's Appointlet. Pretty good, pretty clean. But some people might be saying that's a couple too many hoops, right? I'd like to look into this, but I want something that's easier. So Google Calendar, if you use Google Calendar, and if you use Outlook, they have it too. If your school or university or organization is built in the Microsoft ecosystem, they have one. It's actually a pretty nice one. My National Louis is, but I really don't use that. So I'm sure you could find a video if you wanted to look that up. But if you use Google, you can set up an appointments calendar here. And we'll go over the pros and cons with that. Obviously, a pro is that it's free. It's already in your calendar, right? And it's pretty simple to use. If you know how to add an event to your calendar, you know how to set up an appointments calendar. So let's take a look. Let's say, I have all my out of office stuff. I left Monday open. Let's set up something for Monday. So there's two ways we know we can create an event. We can click create up here, or we can click here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend it's a school day. I'm going to click and drag from 7:45 to 3 o'clock. Okay. And now you see right here, it says appointments slots. This is where you're going to create this meeting. You can make it simple here, right? Click what type of meeting you want it to be, slot duration, all that stuff. But I'm going to click on more options to show you some details. So one thing I could do is I could give it a theme, right? So let's say the theme I want this to be is, let's say, I want to make it a general, anyone can set it up. I don't want to make it specific for anything. I could call this meeting with Linhart. So a meeting with me. I think each meeting I'll block out about 20 minutes, right? And location, I'm going to put Mr. Linhart's office. And it's going to go on my work calendar. I'm not going to add any guests. I could put a description if I want. Reminder, if you need a pass, please put your teacher, your period, teacher, and room number here. And I'm going to save it, right? And so on my calendar, it blocks out this whole big thing. So now if I look at it, I go to my appointments page, you get this link up here. This is your appointments link. This is what the calendar looks like. This is from when I'm making this video. But you can see now, if someone were visiting this, what's nice about it, the really nice thing is that if they also use a Google Calendar, you can see right here, it is overlaying my calendar with the available appointments. So that's one plus it has over using a third-party system like Appointlet, like TidyCal, is that if I'm already in the Google Calendar ecosystem or the Google ecosystem, I use Google Calendar, I see it all in one spot. So let's say, you know what, I want to set one up for 1:45. So me with Mr. Linhart, I could change this if I want. You know, if I wanted to, it's going to put my name, the student's name right here. It's just saying my name because I'm using my same account. Right, if I need a pass, put it here. So I'm going to say 4th with Mr. Linhart in room. This time we'll do A113. So I'm going to save that, and it's going to put it on my calendar. Now this is looking a little weird because I'm the student and I'm also the teacher, right? So this would also show up right here. This would be your student's name, and this would be on their calendar automatically, which is nice. All the information here, okay? Now let's say if I wanted to offer a variety of meetings all the time. So let's say right here, I'm going to put senior meetings. I'm going to say 8:30 to 4. We'll keep it 20 minutes. And I can put all the details in the other one, but I want to show quickly how this looks. Let's say I also want to allow time for, we'll do 9th grade meetings. 20 minutes. And we're also going to do, so we did senior meeting, we did that meeting. Let's say I also want to meet with course requests. And again, 8 a.m. to 4, 20 minutes. Okay, so all these can write to my calendar. Okay. But if I look at my appointments calendar now, here's one thing I don't necessarily like about using Google Calendar. It gets a little busy here, right? It gets a little busy with trying to see what I want to set up a meeting for, right? So one workaround with that is, let's delete this one, let's delete this one, and I can make it like my other one where I put, you know, meeting with Linhart. And I could put in here, specify, I can make it even bold, specify type of meeting in meeting title. And I can put all my other details I want there. So now if I save that, from here, somebody sees it. Oh, I forgot to, nope, just giving all the options, meeting with Linhart. The bold didn't, that's one thing, is the bold doesn't look that great, but at least it's capitalized so I can see. So now I'm telling someone, hey, what type of meeting? So we're going to make it a student meeting. It's going to have the student's name, and then I can have all the other stuff here. Boom, go back to my calendar. It will pop up in a second, or at least it should. So there it is. That is how this works. Now, what don't I like about it? Obviously, I talked about the look of it isn't the greatest. And the other thing is, if we're looking at Monday, the 17th, you see I'm making it available for everyone, right? Oh, also what I don't like is that if you want to offer multiple types of meetings at the same time, if you want to make them look different, it's going to make it crowded. So I'd say, like I said, the workaround that is maybe you make just a generic one, and then maybe you put in the description like what type of, type one of the following in the what meeting, things like that. The other thing I don't like is, as you can see on this calendar, 10 a.m. on Monday, I am presenting about motivational interviewing at the ASCA conference. Plug, definitely attend. But if I go here, 10 a.m., 10:05 to 10:25, I can book it. So I'm going to say, let's say, meet Mr. Linhart. I am going to interrupt. I spelled that wrong. I'm the worst speller in the world. My apologies. 2 R's. Your ASCA presentation. Saved, set it up. But as you can see, a student made a meeting and I am not available. So, one thing is that it might not be that big of a deal. If you are someone like me who always has their Google Calendar open, that would just mean, okay, if I come in on Monday, I set up my appointments for the week, and now let's say these things have come up. I'll delete this one because I don't want it on there. But let's say now I'm going to drag and drop. Okay, so I have other stuff going on, so I need to make my meetings less, right? So this is the only time I can meet. And now let's say I'm here till 4 o'clock, so I want to add some more here. Click and drag, right? Appointments, meeting with Mr. Linhart. I think it went over a little. No, it'll be fine. Again, 20 minutes. So I could put those here. So now if I go to the appointments calendar, you could see it's going to avoid those times I am not available. This would look a little weird. They wouldn't see all this because of, this is me being the student on my calendar. But, there's the Google Calendar. I have some people I work with in my district that this is the only calendar they use, and this is the only scheduling system they use, and it's worked great for them. I just like things looking a little cleaner, and so that's why I use the third-party ones. But I won't use one unless it has that two-way sync to where it will check my calendar before it lets someone create an appointment, right? So that's setting up meetings online. Now, this is something you have to be comfortable with. I'm not, saying 100% everyone should do it. You have to be comfortable with relying, a lot on your online schedule, right? I even though we have our Google system at school, I have some counselors I work with that do not like putting stuff in their Google Calendar. They use paper and pencil. They use a planner. So this might not be for you if that's how you work things out. You have to be comfortable with, I've had a lot of times, and this is what I actually like about it, but some people might not like it. Students, parents, people can set up meetings with me without ever talking to me, right? If they have my link to, right now it's my TidyCal or whatever service I'm using at the time. If they have my link, they can set up a meeting whenever they want. And I actually like that, so that, I feel like if a student needs to meet with me, if I don't see them before then they can set up that meeting. So I like that. Actually, if you're into NFC codes or NFC tags, on my work ID, I actually have an NFC sticker that is tied to my scheduling site. So if a student sees me in the hallway, like, hey, can I set up a meeting with you? They have their phone on them, take out my ID, tap it to the back of their phone. I go, okay, here's the site, set up a meeting so we can hang out. So that is scheduling online. I think it's a great resource. I think it's, we want to make ourselves available. We never want our students to say, hey, I can never see my counselor. And I think this is one thing that helps negate that and makes us serve our students better. Hope this helps. Have a great day.